There was a moment about 10 years ago when I was walking to the subway on the Upper West Side. It was the 4th of July, and I was wearing a red, white, and blue dress. I was feeling very patriotic, and it was really tight. And I passed these two men. One appeared to be Latino, and the other appeared to be black. And the Latin guy says, "Yo, mama, can I holla at you?" and the black guy said, "Yo, dude, that's an N-word." And then the Latin guy says, "No, man, that's a bitch." And the black guy said, "No, that's an N-word." And they began to argue. They began to argue about whether I was the B word or the N word. What lovely options. I was born and raised in a city called Mobile, Alabama, and I was born to a single mother, and I was born 7 minutes before my identical twin brother. Growing up in Alabama was challenging for me, I think partly because our family, we were really poor. My mom had to work 2, sometimes 3 jobs to take care of my brother and me, and she was doing it by herself.
And transgender people's experiences are really different. It's an individual experience, so there's no one like sort of blanket transgender experience. So it's really about listening to individuals in terms of who they are and accepting people on their own terms.
There was just no template for dealing with a gender non-conforming child when I was growing up. There was no guidebook, you know. I don't know if there still, I don't know if there is now. So in 6th grade, my grandmother passed away. And my grandmother, we were super close to her. And in 6th grade, I started to go through puberty, and I was having all these feelings for boys. So in addition to being gender nonconforming, I was attracted to boys. And I learned in church that this was a sin. And I imagined that my grandmother was looking down on me and that she was deeply disappointed in the thoughts that I was having. I initially came out as gay in college when I was at IU, and then these evolved into me really accepting my womanhood. And I think the only way that I was able to accept my womanhood was when I finally moved to New York and actually met the first transgender women I would meet, and those women changed my life because all of the misconceptions I had about who transgender people were melted away when I got to know real transgender people.
And you made history as the first transgender on the cover of Time magazine. What was your,
Isabella Grace Hart. I go by female pronouns, and I'm 20.
Jennifer Estep, female pronouns, I'm 44.
I'm Oliver, I'm 20, and I prefer he, him, his.
When I was 4, I actually thought I was a cisgender female. And I believed that until I was rudely told otherwise. And then I found the terms transgender.
Actually, I didn't. I thought that I was just different. I didn't understand that I was actually transgendered until I was 30.
You want me to? I've known I was trans since I was about 5. I knew that I was trans because, like, you know, this general trans story, like the trans male story of I did not want to pee sitting down, and like I hung out with guys all the time, and I would kind of cringe when my mom would call me by my birth name and the female pronouns, so yeah.
I am very out in the public.
I am. You know, like whether or not my family decides to acknowledge that I've changed my name on Facebook recently is their choice, so.
They don't see us all that well. They see us as predators to women,
typically in a bad light. There are a lot of misconceptions about being trans, and it's one of the things that I hope to help resolve.
Personally, I feel like I feel like they feel like we have like an ulterior motive, especially since Caitlyn Jenner is kind of like the spokesperson or face of the trans community as of late, and she makes money. I feel like they feel like we have an ulterior motive.
They do, but they don't at the same time.
No, they do not. Sexuality and gender are two separate and distinct, different things. Sex is related to your biology. Gender is based on how you perceive self.
Since I've known like several trans guys who are gay and several trans women who are gay, so.
I don't get how people assume that either, because there are some people, like there are some trans men that I know that were a lesbian before they transitioned, and then even though they transitioned, they ended up going from a lesbian to being gay.
If I understand the question correctly, the standard doesn't necessarily apply to transgender people. Myself, since I am bisexual, I think of my relationship with my wife as being a lesbian relationship, as I identify as female and she is female. And when I have relations with a man, it's a straight relationship.
I mean, for me, I don't have a problem with it since it's true, since I only like females. But I mean, I can see how it could be problematic for people who kind of defy the heteronormity, with the lesbian trans woman and the gay trans males. So.
I've struggled with confidence throughout my life, and I've struggled with shame and internalized transphobia and internalized racism and internalized classism. And so I have all that stuff, but there was something in me believed I had something special. Telling the truth to myself about myself is awesome, because it's just a relief, because I don't have to try to be something I'm not. I can just be. Who you are authentically is all right. The shame is what kills you. Believing that you are unworthy of love and belonging, that who you are authentically is a sin or is wrong, is deadly. Who you are is beautiful and amazing. It's important, with all of the messages that might tell you otherwise, that you have that in yourself to say that I am beautiful, I'm smart, and I'm amazing.